Lifeboat Live, we have 4 simple rules. Number 1, we don't discuss politics, ever. Number 2, this is not a religious channel, and while you might hear people say, God bless you, or I'm going to pray for you, or I wouldn't have gotten through this without my faith, that's fine. What's not fine is to say, my God is better than your God, or here's why you're not getting into heaven. It's not going to fly. Number 3, we believe wholeheartedly if you can't control your tongue, then you can't control your life. So while on board, there's not going to be any cursing in the live chat, period. And number 4, there is no room for mean people on the lifeboat. Because we discuss very sensitive things from people's past in our group setting, we got to protect those people. The only way they feel confident and comfortable discussing those things is in an environment that is free of trolls and mean people. So if you're a mean person or you're a troll, we're going to block you for life. And if your account happens to be less than 24 hours old, we're probably a little suspicious right from the word go. Why? Well, because there are people in this world who enjoy being cruel solely for the sake of being cruel. It's not going to fly here. But if you're here because you're trying to get sober and live your best life, then you might find that the lifeboat is just that, a lifeboat. I'm Captain Tommy Scoville, and we will see you on deck. Hey, everybody. I'm Captain Tommy Scoville, and you are on the lifeboat. Riding on the lifeboat, riding on the lifeboat. Let me turn off my phone real quick. Sorry, Squirrel has been being a absolute pest, and it has caused me to be a little behind. But there we go. We're under control. So, good to see everybody. Apparently, Charlie has done nothing today. So I'd share that with everybody. No, Charlie works more days than anybody on the planet. So I thought I'd take a shot at him since this is probably the first day off that I can remember Charlie having. Not being funny. But hope you had a good day, Charlie. Hope you had a decent day off. So today, we're going to be talking about goals and pipe dreams and wishes and all of the differences between them. You know what, people, when you decide that sobriety is a goal that you're going to set for yourself, we tend to treat it differently than we treat other goals. When you are abusing a substance, it has such an effect on your life. It's something that comes on so hard and so fast and changes your life so much that we don't treat sobriety as we treat other goals. Hi, V. Good to see you. Chili Phil, glad you're here, brother. Todd, great to see you. The Guy, JT. Stand for Truth, glad you're here. Mark, I'm glad you're here as well. Seventh Son, never a doubt. Charlie Murphy, lazy Charlie Murphy. Miss Dragon, glad you're here. So, Cindy Party, did I see Cindy Party? I think I did. Let me just check this real quick. Smitty, good to see you. If I missed anyone, I apologize. AKA Heather Joy, hope you're feeling better. Scoob, I talked about you this morning. You inspired me yesterday, so I did mention you. So, I was talking to Calhoun today, my son, and he's been training of sorts. He's been doing a lot of stuff online, and he's been doing some filming of himself, and he's getting into the YouTube spirit. And he did a couple of YouTube type videos where he did it very much like I do the boat. And I'll be honest with you, I was impressed. It was awesome. Really proud of him. But he said to me, you should really talk about goals, Dad. And Calhoun's been on fire in terms of suggestions that he's made to me as far as subject matter to talk about on the lifeboat. So I thought, you know what? Since the last 3 or 4 suggestions he gave me have been excellent, come here. I thought I would run with this one. And this is a very big deal. When you decide to get sober, you pour your entire life into it. Nothing is more important. We become so hyper-focused on getting sober that obviously we make it happen. If not, we'd have a much smaller crew here on the lifeboat. Good girl. Get in the basket. Get in the basket. I'm sorry, people. It's not as bad as a bee, but when squirrel's on one, she's on one. And once you decide that you're going to get sober, you put everything in your life into it. It becomes something that is a very big deal. So why is it that we don't attack other things the same way? We get sober. We decide we want to change our lives for the better. And sobriety becomes our number one focus. We become laser focused on it to the point where a lot of people will come here, 2 hours a day, every day, and meet with other people on the lifeboat so that they have an opportunity to give themselves the best chance of success. Rick, good to see you. Wharton Thistle, glad that you're here. Wharton, John Doe, glad you're here. So why is it that very often we get sober and that is the level playing field? In other words, we get there and we think, well, we're done. I don't need any new goals or anything. Man, I got sober, right? This is the biggest thing in my life. Now I can kind of rest on my laurels and I'll go back to the status quo, but I'll do it sober. It's a tragedy in a lot of ways. The Hobotographer, I'm glad that you're here. Hold on a second, people. Let me get this set up a little better. It won't take but a second. So we decide that, this is the new us and we're sober and it's a beautiful thing. It really is. And I take nothing away from that. And it should be the number one goal in your life. And staying sober should be the number one goal in your life, because if you're not sober, everything else falls along the wayside. However, as we've said so many times before in the past, it's base camp. It really is. It's base camp. So once we're at base camp, we need to start looking about and thinking about what we want to be the new you, the new Hobotographer, the new John Doe, the new Miss V, the new Chili Phil, the new Heather Joy. What is the new you going to be? I talk all the time about a page 2 and a page 3 Tommy. And, these things change over time. I'm going to be really, really honest with everybody here. And I always am, but this one you haven't heard before. So I have been very, very blessed in my watch business has been very successful, and it's been successful enough to pay me a lot of money. It is, however, on the chopping block. True story. As time moves on and things start to evolve, the lifeboat is becoming considerably bigger. Now, that may not be obvious to everybody on the lifeboat because the numbers may not be reflecting that. But I am now doing things on the lifeboat that I've never done before. And I'm reaching people like I never have done before. And Squirrel, don't do that. I think I told everybody this morning. The rest of you may not know. I'm sorry, people. Squirrel is redoing my lighting setup. I talked about this on this morning's video, but you may not be privy to it yet. The number of people that we have helped get into medical assisted treatment is astounding. My goal in the next 7 months is to see if I can't get 133 people into medical assisted treatment. And if that number seems arbitrary, it's not. It has something to do with some finances and some things that have happened but that's my goal. And doing that is taking up a lot more time than it used to. And for that reason, my watch business in some ways is on autopilot. If I'm just selling watches, I can just let it go and people order them and I package them up and I ship them. And it's a very easy thing to do. However, I spend a lot of time buying watches. I spend a lot of time working on watches that I bought to repair them and get them ready to go. And it's not something that I'm not going to be able to do that and still hit the goals that I want to hit on the lifeboat. And I've spent a lot of time thinking about this and I've spent a lot of time in prayer. But it has occurred to me that the time may come, and I've talked about this on the boat before, the time may come where the boat gets sizable enough and the things that I'm doing get big enough where I may have to make a choice between the watches and the lifeboat. And I assure you the lifeboat's never going to take a backseat to anything, not while I'm still breathing. So I've alluded to some things that Johnny and I are doing, and some things that I'm unable to talk about because of contractual type stuff and non-disclosure type stuff. But the lifeboat is going to grow, and I'm sitting here and I'm thinking about setting goals for the future. ZW, good to see you. I'm glad you're here, ZW. Zenwen, appreciate it. You know what, people? It's funny. You look down and you go, $1.49. Zenwen gives so much time and so much money to the lifeboat, and I really appreciate you, ZW. I really do. It's constant. It's a never-ending thing, and I really do appreciate you. It's going now to a very, very important cause, and it's something that we're seeing. We're seeing the efforts. We're seeing all the people that put up with me not doing enough private videos, who buy memberships. The seeds that we've planted are bearing fruit, a lot of it. And it's amazing the number of people that we've been able to help. And it's a drop in the bucket compared to the number of people we're going to help in the following year. It really is. I'm learning how I set a goal for wanting to help more people. And this is a great illustration for this evening. Okay, I want to help more people get on medical assisted treatment. I want to help more people get off fent, right? Because it's a death sentence waiting to happen. So I really, really want to be able to get more people on this. Is that a goal? It's a wish. I really wish more people would show up. Mr. Scoville, I need medical assisted treatment. Could you help me? It doesn't work that way. Dion, good to see you. It doesn't work that way at all. I have to go find these people. So a wish is I would really like to see more people get on medical assisted treatment. A goal is I need to get more people on medical assisted treatment and more people off of fentanyl. If I want to hit that goal, I'm going to have to hold on one second. Sorry, one of my family members just texted me. If I want to hit that goal, if I want to see more people start the process of getting sober, if I want to see more people get off of fentanyl, it's not enough to wish that would happen. Wishes don't come true. Maybe in Disney World. In the real world, wishes do not come true. You have to actually make wishes happen. Tommy's causes. Thank you, Seventh. I appreciate you, brother. I really do. You know what? Seventh Son has been here as long as I have. And for those that have been here that long, man, it really touches my heart. Charlie Murphy has been here as long as I have. V has been here damn close to as long as I have. It really means a lot to me. Oops, I got carried away playing a game. Good afternoon, everybody. Miss V, Scoob, Zenwen, Mark, Dion, Charlie, Rick, Wharton, Heather, Joy, Seventh, Chili, Phil, John, Todd G, Monk, Miss Dragon, and Stand for Truth. I should just wait for KD to show up, and I can do Conky Dong's list of people that are here. It would make my life a whole lot easier. Well done. Seriously, I don't know that you missed too many people. I'm impressed. So my wish is that I help more people get on medical assisted treatment. How do I make that happen? Because that's the difference between a wish and a goal. The difference between a wish and a goal is more than writing it down, although that's the start of everything always. Mr. Ray, glad that you're here. That's the start always, is taking that pen. By the way, before I forget, because I will squirrel off in a different direction, there are some apps out now for journaling. And these apps give you the opportunity to put an emoji up there if you're having a good day or having a bad day or whatever. And it lets you pull information back out of your journaling almost like you would do on a spreadsheet. And so you can say, how many days last month was I uncomfortable? How many days last month was I angry? How many days last month was I whatever? And I'm going to be posting those over on the Facebook Safe Harbor. So if you're not on the Facebook Safe Harbor, get your butt over there, and I will accept you, and you can join the crew. I promise you're not going to regret it. It's not normal Facebook, just like this isn't normal YouTube. I had a great comment from someone earlier. I think it might have been Conky now, but that just said, social media is what social media is. But to go someplace as positive as the lifeboat is such a rare thing, and it is really astounding. I take no credit for that. I'd like to. Oh boy, would I like to. But that's been you, all of you, the crew of the lifeboat. The reason that we are where we are right now is because of you all. And it's I talked about it this morning a lot, but I'm beyond humbled by what you have all put together here. And I love my chair. I really do. I love sitting here and I love talking to you, but I didn't build this. I really didn't. It's amazing what you all have put together, and I appreciate you to no end. I really do. So I want to get more people on medical assisted treatment. So what I do is I grab my pen and I start writing things down. What is the biggest problem that keeps people from achieving their goals? And you know what? I got a friend on the right coast. Right coast? Yeah, on the right coast. I have a feeling he's lurking, but I hope he's listening. What's the difference between people who are successful and people who are not successful in the goals that they set? One word can sum it up. That word is focus. How many times have you met somebody and they have the greatest ideas in the world, one right after the other? They just keep coming up with really good ideas. And you go, damn, I can't believe that person isn't rich and famous and everything else. The problem is good ideas are worthless unless you can implement them. And that's where focus comes into play. If you come up with an idea like, I want 133 people on medical assisted treatment, and I want them there before September 1st. That's a great goal, right? That's a great goal. That's a lot of lives that we have the opportunity to touch and perhaps save. But it's a wish. So I say, all right, and I write it down. Now it stops being a wish, and it starts the very early phases of becoming a goal. But I got to focus. If I don't focus on how I make that a reality, it will never be a reality. It will be something that I wrote down, be something I pray about, but it will not be a reality unless I get laser focused on this. So how do I do this? Well, there are some places here in the state of Nevada that only work with people who are addicted to opiates. It's not a halfway house, but it is a house, and it is a place that they bring in people, and they allow them to stay for a very short period of time until they come up with a game plan. And I found that I can call this place and say, how many people do you have in there right now who are addicted to opiates that are in your facility? And they say, well, right now we've got 15. 15. So I could go down and present medical assisted treatment as a way to getting off this stuff to 15 people in one sitting. Okay, now my pipe dream has become a legitimate goal, and there's a plan involved. My focus is on getting down there and talking to those people. And that's a hell of a start. But I have to stay focused on every single place that I can find groups of people addicted to opiates in one place. Because grabbing them one at a time, I'm never going to hit my goal. So how do we become focused? Well, here's a good idea. Very often people will write down their goals. And because of people like me, they believe that when you write something down, it stops being a wish and it becomes a goal. And that's not the truth. I may have said that before, but it's not the truth. It's the first stage. So here's what I want you to do. Tonight, when you're journaling, before you go to bed, I want you to write down 20 goals that you want to get done in the remainder of 2023. I'll jumpstart this for you. I'd like to make more money. I would like to get into better shape. I would like to spend more time with my kids. I would like to get a new automobile. I would like to whatever. But make a list. If you can't get 20, get 10. But make a list of things that you would like to see happen in 2023. And then I want you to stare at that list. And I want you to read it from the top to the bottom. And I want you to pretend for a second that Captain Tommy Scoville hands you a magic wand. And all you got to do is take that magic wand and wave it. And the number one thing on that list, right? Everything on that list has the potential, but you're only going to be allowed one thing out of that list of 10 or 20, or if you're cooking 30. If you could wave a magic wand and have one of those things become a reality, which one would it be? The rest of them, they're not your goal. They're dreams, and maybe we'll come back to them at a later date. But that one deal on that list where you say, no, if I could snap my fingers and have that be a reality right now, it would be this. Well, that's where your focus needs to be. An amazing thing happens if you begin to focus on that thing. There was a dinner thrown a few years ago, and at that dinner, it was a little over a year ago, and at that dinner was Warren Buffett and the guy from Amazon. Can't think of his name right now. Jeff Bezos. Jeff Bezos was there. Elon Musk was there. And the three of them were talking to one another. Well, that's a power trio, isn't it? Three of the four richest men on the planet. What makes those people as successful as they are when the rest of us normal mortals are walking around trying to pay the bills? So somebody at this party actually asked that question. What do you think separates you from other people who have, pikers, guys with $2 billion or guys with $4 billion? What's the difference between those people and the people that have $100 billion or $80 billion? All three of them agreed that it's focus. It's the ability to take what you want and jump on it. Absolutely jump on it. Now, how do you do that? Well, I would recommend this as well. Write your goals, right? You're gonna write that list of 10 or 20. And you need to write your goals effectively. Right? That would be number 2. You need to write your goals effectively. And I'll give you a perfect example. I'd like to lose weight. That's not a goal. Even if you write it down, that's not a goal. So how do you write your goals effectively? All right. I want to get 133 people on medical assisted treatment. I can talk to rehabilitation centers. I can talk to schools. I start to put down what I have to do. I start putting a framework around that goal. I want to lose weight. That's not a goal. I am going to cut out every sugary beverage that I drink and I'm going to replace it by water. I'm not going to have another sugary beverage this year. And if you go, all I drink is diet soda, got news for you. That doesn't work either. It doesn't. The sweetness in artificial sweeteners tells your brain the same thing sugar tells your brain, and it causes a whole host of things to happen. Regardless, neither here nor there. But I'm not going to eat bread anymore for the next year. And I'm not going to have one sugary beverage for the next year. That is a framework around a goal. Now, your goal has something in place that's going to say, if I do this, this is going to work. How do you do that? Well, number 3, structure your goals with questions. So whatever you put down there that ends up being the number one thing that if you could snap your fingers would instantly happen. Let's say that goal was, I want to lose 100 pounds in the rest of 2023. That would be a stretch, wouldn't it? But let's say that's your goal. Now start asking logical questions. And the first one should be what? The first one would be, how can I lose 100 pounds in 2023? And like I said, now start building a structure around it. I'm not going to drink any more sugary beverages. I'm not going to drink any diet beverages, anything with fake sugar in it. I'm not doing any of that garbage. For the rest of 2023, there will be nothing that I take in for beverage that isn't water. Sparkling water, flavored water, whatever, but water. That's what I'm going to drink for the rest of 2023. And I'm not going to do bread anymore. And you know what else? I'm not going to do pasta. In fact, I'm just going to eliminate things that are white out of my menu. So potatoes, rice, pasta. This is what I did in prison when I wanted to lose a ton of weight. And I was at a prison yard at the end when I was really pushing for the weight loss. I was at a place that served Cinnabons a couple of times a week, right? They actually had a thing on Sunday where you could go down and eat 4 or 5 of these things. And they were like 1,200 calories a piece. But I knew how much time I had left. I had 9 months and I had dropped 65, 70 pounds. But I wanted to leave right at the 200 mark. So I eliminated bread completely from my life. And I didn't buy sodas. I didn't do sugary beverages. I didn't do any of that. When you go to Chow, they would give you something that was very similar to Kool-Aid. I didn't drink it. That was out of my life because I knew that that was a very easy way to help achieve the goal that I had set. If, when I started structuring my goals as questions instead of a written statement, I would like to lose 60 more pounds. How can I lose 60 more pounds? I walked 4 hours a day. Every single day, without fail, I walked 4 hours a day. And that was a very big thing for me to go out and do. And I would do 1 mile every 15 minutes. So in 4 hours, I could bust out about 16 miles. I'm talking about trucking, right? It's not a leisurely stroll. If it was going any faster, they would have called it a slow run. I'm not telling you this to impress you, I assure you. I'm not an impressive person. I'm telling you this because I started asking myself questions. Somebody says to you, you have the best deal in the world right in front of you, and it's in the palm of your hands, right? All you got to do is grab this thing. And the person says, you know what? I'm going to be busy for the next little bit. So here's what I would like you to do. Are you doing that? Because if you're not, then this great dream isn't going to happen. Are you doing what you've been asked to do? Are you working on the deck? Because I certainly hope you are. I hope everybody, King of Women 23, good to see you. When you start putting these things into questions, then you're really in a much better shape to see it actually become fruition. Identify your limitations. Identify your limitations. Okay, so I write procrastination. That's my number one limiting factor. And it's brought on for me by stress. If I stress about something, I avoid it. And how do I avoid it? I avoid it by putting off. Tomorrow I'm going to get on this. Tomorrow I'm going to get on this thing. You know what I'm doing now instead? I journal. I journal my backside off. I've told everybody here, I'm a journaler. So if I'm going to be writing every single day, if I'm going to be writing every single day before I go to sleep, then why don't I write down things like, here's what you're going to do tomorrow. Do you know one of the number one causes of insomnia in America? True story, I read this today. It's people who worry about things they can't control, like the fact that they don't make enough money. How is that something you can't control? But anyway, that's what they wrote in this article. People sit up at night and they think about things. I set this goal. I want to lose 100 pounds, man. How am I going to lose 100 pounds? Okay, write what you're going to do the next day. Grab your journal and write down, this is what I'm doing tomorrow. You're going to sleep. You're going to sleep. And really unusual things happen. You wake up in the morning and you sit up in bed and you go, why didn't I think of rehabs? Why didn't I think of rehabs? People come into rehabs, many of them paid for by the state, and this person's addicted to drugs. Why am I not talking to these rehab centers? There's 9 of them in the city of Reno. Why am I not talking to rehab centers to try to reach people who need medical assisted treatment? Because if I could step in there and say, you know what, we're going to pay for you, I got a good shot. Or I could stay up all night going, how am I going to do this? How am I going to do this? How am I going to do this? If you write down what you want to get done the next day, a really unusual thing happens. And that unusual thing is during the night, your brain will work these problems out. Your brain will actually start trying to come up with solutions to the problems that keep you awake. Wow. How cool would that be, huh? Wake up in the morning with an idea of, you know what? Tommy says I should probably be getting out and walking. I wonder what walking 26 minutes a day would do to my weight loss goals. What if freedom fighter, I'm glad you're here, brother. What would it mean if I walked every single day for 26 minutes? What if I could do 40? Would that help me lose weight? You betcha. John, good to see you. You bet it would. Absolutely it would. Dennis, I'm not sure if I said hello to you. If I missed you, good to see you, Dennis. My cat's playing with my lighting setup again. Get your paw down. What are you doing? Stop that. Naughty cat. So before you go to bed tonight, get the journal out and make that thing your best friend. Talk to your journal about what you can do to move this thing forward. Hold on one second. I got somebody dropping the ball, people. Amazingly, I got someone who's dropping the ball. And I got to tell them they're dropping the ball. And what happens is this. Every once in a while, I've got people that I'm so close to that they hear me talking like this and they think I'm talking at them. Maybe I'm talking at them. Ooh. Did you see that? The entire thing just melted behind me. That was creepy. Buddha, good to see you. But if you take the time before you go to bed to write down what you want to do the next day to move your goal forward, when you wake up in the morning, you're going to have ideas in your head. And you say, I don't know, because in the morning I wake up and I'm foggy. Of course you're foggy. Your brain has been playing poker while you're asleep. Everything you got going on in your life has been in there getting dealt out and dealing with all of these things at once while you've been asleep. Your subconscious has been partying like it's 1999 while you're sawing logs. Well, how does that help me, Tommy? Well, you pick up the damn notebook. And while all of those things are in your head in the morning and you go, I don't even know what's going on, just put the pen down and start writing. And you'll be astounded when you read and you go, rehab centers. How the hell didn't I think of rehab centers? That's incredible. Churches. Every church in town has got a program for people who are addicted to drugs. Why am I not talking to all of these different churches and saying, if there's somebody that comes in and they tell you that their biggest fear is kicking. Yeah, they're doing drugs. They wish they could quit, but they can't seem to get off the stuff because they're so terrified of what it means to be dope sick. Well, I'm your guy. I'll make that go away. I'll give you an opportunity to avoid that. When you wake up in the morning and your thoughts are jumbled because you haven't written them down. Yeah. Info dump all the things that you have in your brain onto a piece of paper and watch what happens. I'm not kidding you. Really amazing things begin to happen. Now, number 5 in my list of things that you got to get done if you want your goals to be taken care of is you got to take action quickly. Taking action is important. Taking action quickly is the most important thing in the world. I want you to think of a place, and we'll call it Tomorrow Island, right? It's Tomorrow Island. And if you went to Tomorrow Island, do you know what you would find there? You would find 500,000 people that are this close to being rich. Trust me, they'll tell you about it. I got the greatest idea in the entire world. Let me tell you about it. Why aren't you rich? Well, I haven't really gotten it put into action yet. But tomorrow, that's Tomorrow Island. The difference between people who are successful and people who are failures is the people who are successful take massive action. When they realize that they want something, they go, boom, everything else in my life is gone. I'm decking this thing. That was another deck reference. See the boat thing? See what I'm doing there? I'm going to take massive action. I'm going to attack this. Because I could get up in the morning and I could write rehabilitation centers, homeless shelters, churches. 3 great ideas. What a great way to come up with people that need medical assisted treatment. Tomorrow, I'll get around to talking to them. And when you meet me on Tomorrow Island, you can say, so what was your good idea? Man, I had a way to get 133 people who are facing a death sentence because of the drugs that they do and get them off of that crap so that I can help them turn their life around like I was fortunate enough to turn around mine. Right? Well, I could do that. I'm not going to end up on Tomorrow Island because I'm going to take massive action. When I write those things down, I get on the phone and I start calling these people. Hey, man, you ever have people come in and tell you that their biggest fear is that they just can't get sober because they don't want to be sick? Call me. Call me. I started doing this, people. I really did. You know what the astounding thing was? They can't wait. They thought, oh, man, this is answered prayer. They don't know how to deal with these people. There's somebody out there that would like to help. The difference between the successful and the dreamer is that the successful person has focus and they take massive action. Fail, make a mistake, screw up, but take action and do it today. Man, I would like to be thinner. Well, then you're not going to drink anything that has sugar in it today. You're not going to eat any bread today. Today. Not, well, it's Thursday. You may as well start this thing on a Monday. You know what I mean? Who starts anything on a Thursday? I know it's Wednesday. I'm shooting it out as an illustration. Take massive action. Start now. Right now. You got something that you want to change in your life? Well, now, right now, I mean right now, is the time that you need to deck this thing. Yet another deck reference. Massive action. You can't sit around. I love the fact that Nick is big into raccoons. I think that's one of the coolest things ever, right? Prepare in advance, right? So I'm not calling these people and getting them on the phone and going, I write a script and I talk for a living. I assure you I can come on here and wing it. I talk for a living. I've been talking for a living my entire life. But I'm not going to risk the future of the rest of what I want to do with my life on winging it. That's a bad idea. So I have a much different script for churches. I'm a Christian. I can talk to them about Christ and their plan for people and all of those things. That's a different script than a rehab center, which is a much different script than a state-run facility. A rehab center wants to keep those people there as long as possible. They're getting paid on it. A state facility wants to get those people out as fast as possible because they're paying on it. And a church has a goal of saving more than the body. They want to save the soul. 3 completely different presentations, right? So in the example that I use of trying to help 133 people get on medical assisted treatment, it's not just enough to take action quickly. I got to prepare in advance. Once again, if you're preparing in advance, may I recommend that before you go to bed, you write about this stuff, right? Write about this stuff because it's going to help you prepare for the next day. Yeah, it really will. And it's important. If you blow that off, you're going to end up spending a great deal of your time doing nothing. Get organized. Organization is absolutely massive. You say, well, I struggle with that. How many times a day do you check your email? How many times a day do you check your email? I got news for you. Checking your email will destroy your day. No joke. Because when you get emails and you check them 15 times during the day, whatever you're focused on is done. I check my emails now twice a day. That's it. Now, I have somebody that looks at the titles of all of the emails. And if you put something in there that says, I think I'm going to get high, I'm going to get a text from someone who's read that. But catching up on all the emails that aren't life-threatening, I do it in the morning and I do it at night. Because I know that if I check my email, I'm going to squirrel off in a bunch of different directions. That doesn't benefit me in my goal setting. That doesn't benefit me in achieving my goals, in making these things happen. There's actually, believe it or not, there is a study done that says you can drop IQ points for a day and get them back. Bizarre, right? But they said that checking your email will drop your IQ points once every time you do it for the day. So if you're checking your email 9 times a day, you can go from being a pretty smart guy to being Forrest Gump for that day. I'm not a smart man, Jenny. Get off social media. If you're trying to be successful, social media is designed in a specific way. If I come and I check every social media platform that I have anything to do with, I go, ooh, I got a like, and I get a dopamine hit. Ooh, read what that person said about the boat, and I get a dopamine hit. And what am I doing? All day long, I'm doing this number, just like I may as well be going in and doing bumps. I may as well be doing lines in the bathroom because I'm getting dopamine crash, dopamine crash, dopamine crash. Hell, we've been living that one our whole lives. Think that's going to help you get where you're going? Because it's not. I promise you, that's not going to get done what needs to get done. Put that stuff away. If you got a goal, focus on the goal. Focus on what you want. Reward yourself. Number 7 on Tommy's list of cool things. Reward yourself. Say, what does that mean? Well, today I did contact the people that I'm telling you about. Not all the churches. That's just going to take a while because pastors don't call you back as fast as you would hope because there are people dying. And you know what? That's probably more important than talking to some dude that just called. But I talked to the state-run facility in town. And the state-run facility in town said, I would love for you to come in and talk to anybody that needs medical assisted treatment. And if you're willing to help them get on it, I will give you a format to come in and talk to these people. And I'll try to get it set up for 5 or 6 people at a time. We usually have that many that are ready to do something like that if they have the ability to have someone else pay for it. They're ready to roll. So not only did I talk to this guy, but I've got a schedule set up for when I will go in each week and talk to groups of people. It's going to be 3 times a week. I need to reward myself. That's success. That's getting me toward my goal. So what does rewarding myself look like? Well, you know, it's going to be different for everybody. But for me, I took 45 minutes to read about all of the new watches that Rolex put out this year. They put them out in April, and I haven't had a chance to do it yet because of the boat and everything else that's been going on. I haven't had time to just kick back and go, oh, I'm just going to take a little time. But I did that today. And there's some really great stuff that Rolex is putting out this year. There's also some garbage that I'm really disappointed in. But you know what? It was a reward. I got to shut my brain down from all of the things that I need to think about. You're into chocolate cake. You go 5 days without drinking anything that has sugar in it. And you're walking 26 minutes a day. And you're working out. You're doing things to try to make yourself better. Once a week, neck a piece of chocolate cake. Or whatever you're into. Reward yourself for the things that you've done. Why? Because it's symbolic. It's not that piece of cake is that big a deal. It's the fact that you said, I did it. It's like putting a medal on. It's like, woohoo! I did it. I set this goal. I achieved it. Reward the hell out of yourself for that. You deserve it. And it's positive reinforcement. When you set a goal and you hit it and you reward yourself for doing it, it's a habit. One of the greatest expressions I've ever heard is that I was really awful at that until I wasn't. I really sucked at that until I didn't. Tying your shoe, riding a bike, right? Any of these things. Writing in cursive, reading. I sucked at it until I didn't. Everything that I've talked to you about today is a skill. It's a skill. Skills are something that you have to learn, number 1. Number 2, you have to practice. Number 3, you have to master. And I'm telling you that no matter what skill I just talked to you about, focus, right? Determination, any of the things that we're talking about today are a skill. Identifying your limitations, all of these things are skills. And if you practice skills long enough, do you know what they become? Second nature. When's the last time you thought, when you sat down, the rabbit runs around the tree and you make a loop? Don't think about tying your shoes. You can look up at me talking to me. So tell you what's going on, Tommy. And you're just going to, yeah, right? You're just going to, there's no thought process in that. But boy, there was a time where there wasn't there? You had to line the ends and then you had to, and then you had to pull it tight and it wasn't tight enough. We suck at everything we do until we don't. Everything is difficult as hell until it isn't. All of these things, you can get to a point where they're no longer difficult for you, but only if you practice them. Only if you take the time to actually work on them. And then number 8, start and complete your tasks. Go right back to my 133. So today I knew I was going to be contacting as many people on my list as I could get. And that list has got 31 different people to contact. That's not going to happen in a day. And it can be overwhelming. You can look at the list and go, God, 31? I got to pitch 31 people. So my goal is 3 a day. I got that goal done today. But I started and completed it. If my goal was 3, I'd still be on the phone. I would have called Heather Joy and said, you got to take this. I got something I need to do, and I didn't do it. Until I had 3, which is my goal for the day, well, I can't call on Saturday and Sunday, right? So it's going to take a little over a week and a half to do this. But I'm going to hit 3 a day. I'm going to. Because that's the goal. I've chunked the big goal into smaller goals to make them attainable. You want to lose 100 pounds? That's a big goal. Ask Alan Ballantyne. Break it into 5-pound lots. Reward yourself when you hit the 5 pounds. Noise Opera, thank you, my brother. Really appreciate it. That is my raccoon friend. I love you, man. He sent me a nice email. A text message today on Messenger, and it just came at a good time. Really did. I love you, brother. I'm glad you're here. People, this isn't rocket science. But do you know how easy it is to reward yourself for getting sober and spend the next 4 years of your life not getting off of go? Right? And then one day you find 10 years have got behind you. No one told you where to run. You missed the starting gun. Listen carefully. Bang! Figure out where you want to take this to the next level. Angel Wings, good to see you. Glad you're here. Really glad that you're here. Charles McClellan, good to see you. Where do you want to go from here? You're sober. That's huge, man. It's huge. Take a couple of victory laps. For real. Tell us your sobriety date. We'll pat you on the back. I'm not being patronizing. I'm proud as hell of you. Tell us your sobriety date. Let's celebrate it. And then let's figure out what you're going to do next. Let's start setting some goals. Let's get out that pad and paper and start setting some goals. You know, I read on one of these things and it pissed me off. I got to be honest with you, man. It chapped me to no end. I was researching this subject matter today. As I said, Calhoun recommended it, and I was doing a little research. And I came across all these people that said, the most important thing is that you set realistic goals. You know what? Forget you. What makes a realistic goal? And who the hell gets to say what goal is realistic? If you're setting a goal and that goal is at a 6, make it a 9. If you got it at a 9, make it a 10. Set your goals a little bit higher than you think you're capable of. There's no point in setting a goal that you think you can achieve easily. Honestly, push it a little. Well, I'd like to lose 30 pounds in a year. Well, I should hope that's possible, right? If you just cut out water and bread, you're going to lose more than that in a year. I promise you. I mean, if you cut out sugary beverages and go to water and you don't do bread, whether you like it or not, you're going to lose 30 pounds in a year. I promise. Up it. Up it. What is your absolute goal? Well, I'm 100 pounds overweight, but setting a goal of 100 pounds. No. Set the goal of 100 pounds. You don't have to hold yourself to a time frame. You don't. But you do have to ask the question, how can I lose 100 pounds? You do have to write down things before you go to bed about what you're going to do the following day to achieve that goal. Break that 100 pounds into 3 pound, 5 pound, 10 pound, whatever works for you. But people, if you don't shoot for the stars, you're liable to not hit the moon. Don't be afraid to push the envelope. Don't be afraid to set the goal a little higher than everybody else will tell you is possible. With all due respect, screw everybody else. Yeah, I said it. I did. This is why your best friend is a notebook. For real. If I went to family members and said, I would like to get 133 people on medical assisted treatment before September. Well, what's that going to cost, Tommy? About $40,000. Well, that's a lot of money. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. but that's my goal. And I think it's realistic. I did math. I didn't pull this number out of my buttocks. I sat down, I worked this out. I know where I can go to try to get money. I got all of that lined up. I got it ready to roll. I want 133 people, and I want them by September. And I'm going to make that happen. Going to do it. I'm going to break it up into smaller groups, right? We're in May. I've got June, July, and August, right? So how many people do I have to get each day? There's someone that told me that I can come in and talk to at least 5 people at a time, and I'm just going to keep breaking this down into segments. And just between us, since we're all friends here, I plan on beating that number. I really do. I plan on beating that number. And if I do and I'm successful at that, you know what I'm going to do? Well, obviously, I'm going to sit back in my chair and go, we helped 133 people. I'm done. I'm going to make the goal bigger for the next time period. That's the same time period. Well, if I could do that in 90 days, what am I going to shoot for in the next 90? I know the day's coming where I'm not going to be able to sell watches anymore because I'm not going to bail on the lifeboat. I'm not. And the lifeboat doesn't make any money. So I got to come up with a plan B for that, but I'm already working on it. Got some things that I'm putting into place that is going to enable me to do what I want to do. And what I want to do is save people from dying on fentanyl. If it's going to be, it's up to we. Know what I mean? Or me, or whatever works for you. But nobody is ever going to come and go, how you doing? I'm success. I set a goal for you while you've been doing nothing, and I have achieved that goal for you, and here is your success. Please enjoy it. It doesn't work like that. Massive action, focus, right? Getting prepared, breaking things down into attainable size goals. That notebook better become your best friend. That journal better become your best friend. And you may say, there's somebody from my life that I just burned so bad. This person's never going to talk to me again. If your goal is to talk to that person, I've got somebody from my life that I would very much like to speak to again. That person does not want to have anything to do with me. I am going to build a life where this person is going to find out who I am and want to reach out to me. That's a goal. I got it as a 5-year goal because it's going to take a hot minute. But it's going to happen. Because I've gotten to the point, people, where I really believe that if I want something bad enough, that I don't think that there's anything that's going to come between me and that goal. Maybe that's arrogant. I prefer to think of it in terms of confident. That one makes me a lot happier. So how can you start this process today? You can start tonight by making a list. If all you can come up with is 5 goals, I'm not mad at you. But I think you can do better than that. Write every goal you can think of. And if you go, well, that goal kind of, doesn't make sense because if I did that one and this one, forget that. Throw logic out. At this point, you're just writing down the things that you wish would come to fruition. You don't have to write down 15 attainable goals. Don't do that. Write down 15 things you wish would happen in your life in the remainder of 2023. If they look pipe dreamish, fine. Write them down. And when you're done, do the magic wand test. If you just start with that today, then you will have made massive strides. The magic wand test being if I could wave a magic wand, if I could snap my fingers, if I could make one wish to a genie, which one on this list would come to fruition right now? That's the goal. Forget about the rest of them. Fling them out to the side. You say, well, Tommy, some of the other stuff on that goal, you will achieve those other ones if you attack the one you're after. I promise you. You'll go, holy crap, I haven't been doing anything on this one, but it just seems to be. You find what you're supposed to be doing and you attack the hell out of it, and all of those other things will start going behind, like tin cans tied to a car on a wedding day. You will start dragging all of these things along with you, because once you start to achieve I almost said readiness because I saw rip. Once you start achieving the goals that you're working on, I promise you it's going to happen. Been listening, and you are all amazing friends and people. Rip Curl, good to see you, my brother. I love Rip. He's a really positive guy. People, if you've never checked out Rip's channel, shame on you. He's got a couple of them. He's got Rip Curl Readiness, and he's got Rip on the Range, which is just awesome. He's got a really cool dog. Go over and check out Rip, please. Rip has been a great supporter of the channel. He's been a great friend. He's done 3 of the best interviews I've ever done in my life. Honestly, in my top 5, Rip is 3 of them. The guy, you don't have to interview Rip. You just hit play and you kind of sit back and watch it like you're everybody else. It's amazing. Glad you're here, Rip. But you're sober. Get off start. Get off go. Right? Put it behind you. Start moving forward. Start writing down your goals. There's supposed to be fruit that comes with being sober. It's not the end all, right? It's base camp. It means that, holy crap, I'm a human being. I'm normal. I'm a normal person. Okay, good. Normal people set goals. Start setting some. Start finding out what you want to do with the remainder of 2023 and write it down. You'll thank me later. I promise. You start setting goals, life is going to get better and better and better. And that's an absolute fact. There's no way around that. I believe you can do it. It's been one of my biggest struggles too. Beer, not hard alcohol. Several people here are currently working on it, myself included. You can do it. You absolutely can do it. How much time do you allocate to your goal every day? Well, that's up to you. But if your goal is to get sober, I would recommend that you put in 2 hours a day at a bare minimum. Come here in the morning, come here in the afternoon, and talk to the people in the comment section. The vast majority are here because they're sober. They're here because they need to take a few hours every day to remind themselves what the most important thing in their life is, which is sobriety. But you can do it. I damn promise you can do it. If I can get off 7 grams of heroin a day, if I can leave prison and do what I've done since I got out, I promise you can do this. You can do this. Look around you. You're surrounded by people who have done this successfully. You can do it, and you will do it, and we will celebrate it with you. I promise you. It's going to be fantastic, and I look forward to it. I can't tell you how much. I really can't. It's one of my favorite things in the world is to celebrate people in sobriety. ZW, thank you so much. I'm glad that you're here too. I mean that. I love each and every one of you. Boy, this hour went pretty quick. We all need structure. All of us on the lifeboat. Set goals. Achieve them as much as possible. Boo-yah. If this microphone didn't cost what it does, I would drop it right now, because that really sums it up. Plain and simple. Thank you, Todd. I'm Tommy Scoville, captain of the lifeboat. And this ball of fur right here, oh, don't do it. Don't do it. That is a cat in a basket, as promised. All right. Good night, everybody. I love you. We'll see you on deck. Heather, I'm glad you're feeling better.